Hi, I'm Angel. Thanks for stopping by. I'm going to take you on a little late season herb walk. I'm up in Colorado, outside Golden, and the southern Rocky Mountains, in an area where I have done other herb walks you might find on my YouTube channel in the same area early season. So I thought it would be a nice follow-up to do a late season of the same area so you can kind of see what plants and herbs look like through the season. It is August 9th. It's been a dry year, but we did just finish up some rains, and I'm going to see if this will, no, it won't let me switch it around. So first of all, I want to show you this Oregon grapefruit. Late season, this is a nice specimen here. Oregon grapefruit grows, sometimes there's a grand version, there are many varieties of most plants. Oregon grapefruit has some short scrubby varieties like this, and some tall bushy varieties. But one way you can tell that it's Oregon grapefruit, well, for one, it's usually used for the berberine, which is a yellow chemical that is a very effective antibiotic. Golden seal is the popular herb that has a high amount of berberine, but Oregon grapefruit grows much faster and more prevalently. Golden seal is actually an endangered plant. So I encourage people to use Oregon grapefruit if they are interested in a natural antibiotic instead of the golden seal. It's a little easier on the kidneys as well. So anyhow, here is some nice specimens of late season Oregon grapefruit, the small scrubby variety. And you can see here some more. These are a little lower down. And then up here is a nice stand of Oregon grapefruit just to show you how it often looks out in nature, all up under an evergreen, which is very common and tends to grow, spread along. And so once you find a little bit, you usually find a nice stand. If you are wildcrafting, I encourage you to always be sure and use at least 3 sources, know what your plants are, and know what you're using them for. Do your due diligence. Don't just go eating wild plants that you're not sure what they are, because you could harm yourself. That being said, plants are great medicine, and so I encourage you to learn more about them if you're interested. Oregon grapefruit, as the name implies, the root is the part that we use, and there's a yellow chemical on the outside of the root bark. The root bark is typically where the most berberine is, and it's a very bitter tasting chemical you might be familiar with from golden seal, if you've ever taken some golden seal. I think this might be Cleavers. I keep thinking it's Cleavers, and then I think, nope, it actually isn't. So this looks like Cleavers, growing in a similar place, but Cleavers has a Velcro-esque quality to it. In fact, I think I heard a rumor that Cleavers gave the person who invented Velcro that idea. Here's some wild garlic. See these cute little blossoms here? It grows from a single stem down here, and there's a few around here, so I'm going to go ahead and pull. Whoop. Nope, I left the bulb down there, but you can verify wild onions and garlic by the flavor, which might be familiar to you. Wild garlic, or excuse me, this is wild onion, not wild garlic. It is quite mild, but still has that classic onion or garlic flavor. You can actually eat the blossoms and the bulb, and the stems, I suppose, if you wanted, but they're a little tough. You can see there's some more over here growing along. It tends to grow pretty slow. I'm going to spit that out because it's very garlicky. So if you are wildcrafting, I encourage you to be mindful and never take more than, I like to say, 1/3. Some people say half. Depends on the plant and how fast it's growing. Look, here's a little white one, just to show off nature's variety. Here's some more right here, purple. I was going to show you also, there's a bunch more down here. I'm going to show you bee balm, or sometimes called bergamot, which is prevalent this time of year. Here's some thistle. Now the name just escaped me. The great thistle, the big one. This isn't a very big specimen of it, and obviously it's already done blooming for the year, but it's actually in the artichoke family, or rather the artichoke is in the thistle family. Here's the bergamot, and or aka bee balm that I was talking about. Bergamot is actually not the correct name, but it has a similar smell and flavor to it in the leaves that might remind you of bergamot that you might be familiar with the Earl Grey. Anyhow, I just wanted to show you what it looks like when it's growing late season after it's finished flowering. The leaves are still making iced tea. And what else do we have up here? We've got lots more of this bergamot late season. You can see it already bloomed. Here's some snakeweed. I'd have to review what snakeweed is good for. I can't remember at the moment, but I recognize it by the yellow flowers, and it's got this real sticky quality to it. Now, there are many yellow sticky flowers. I just happen to know this one pretty well. You can see it's growing from a single stem down here. And I recognize the smell. Here's a second year. This was bloomed last year. Mullein. Oh, did it? Maybe it bloomed this year. No, I think it bloomed last year. Mullein is excellent for expelling mucus from the lungs if you can smoke it or take a tincture. Also, the flowers are popular for earaches, infused into an oil. I think I'm going to cut it short here and keep it short and sweet. I invite any questions you might have. Let me just walk around, I guess, and see if we see anything else. I got poked by a plant. What happens? There's some wild roses up here and lots of wild geraniums. These are wild roses here. If they had bloomed, they would make some RoseHips, which can be high in vitamin C. Here's some yarrow, just kind of scraggly yarrow. Yarrow is sometimes a real pretty plant, but up in the mountains it often grows just like that, just sparse. Yarrow is a great plant for stopping bleeding. You can actually rub that plant right on a wound, a minor wound, to stop the bleeding. There's some lupine. I've set my drone out here because my battery died, and hiking back towards that. Anyhow, I'll just give you some nice view out here. Where my drone is sitting here, we had some kind of animal laying out here. You can see these might be wild currants over here. Speaking of animals, well, things like wild currants are great food. Here we have some wild currants. Do be careful and don't eat plants that you're not familiar with. And I like to try to taste things and then spit them out if I'm not sure. This indeed has a little bit of a sweet flavor. I'm fairly confident that these are currants. Sometimes I've heard people call them gooseberries, or similar to a gooseberry. And perhaps they are. In fact, I'll give you some more close-up and ask my audience to confirm. Do you know? Are these currants? Are they gooseberries? I can't give you the smell through the... I don't have smell-o-vision yet, but perhaps we will in the near future. Anyhow, I welcome your input, your questions, your comments. If you know what that is and you want to verify, if you have any questions about any of the plants that I just showed off. Oh, here's some, I thought that was mullein. No, it might be gentian. I'm not positive about it though, so I'm not gonna say for sure that's gentian. Could be. Here's a wild geranium. I wish you